The day you finally chose yourself. It was 5:38 a.m. Los Angeles was still half asleep. Streetlights glowed softly, like they were unsure whether to stay on or fade away. The city felt paused, caught between night and morning. Daniel Carter sat in his car, parked outside his apartment building. Engine off. Hands resting on the steering wheel. Eyes fixed on nothing. He had been sitting there for 20 minutes. Not because he was early. Not because he was tired. Because he didn't want to go inside. Daniel was 34 years old. Reliable. Responsible. The kind of man people trusted without question. At work, he was the dependable one. In his family, the understanding one. Among friends, the guy who's always there. Everyone appreciated him. But no one really knew him. Including himself. His phone buzzed. A work message. "Hey Daniel, can you take care of this today too?" Daniel stared at the screen. His chest tightened. Right on cue, the familiar voice appeared in his head. "Just do it. Don't make things difficult. You can rest later." Later. That word had followed him for years. Later had become never. Daniel wasn't lazy. He wasn't weak. He was exhausted. Exhausted from carrying everyone else's expectations, while ignoring his own needs. Psychology calls this people-pleasing conditioning. When approval feels like safety. When saying yes feels easier than facing guilt. This pattern didn't start in adulthood. It started early. Much earlier. Daniel was 10 years old. His house was never quiet. Arguments echoed through thin walls. Raised voices. Doors closing too hard. Daniel learned quickly that silence didn't mean peace, it meant tension. One evening, after another argument, Daniel quietly cleaned the kitchen. Dishes. Counters. Floor. When his mother saw it, she paused. Then smiled. "You're such a good boy." That smile felt warm. Safe. In that moment, Daniel's brain learned something powerful. If I make things easier for others, I'll be loved. And the brain never forgets lessons learned during fear. Years passed. Daniel became helpful. Too helpful. He anticipated needs before anyone asked. He solved problems before they became conflicts. Teachers praised him. Friends relied on him. Bosses leaned on him. And every time someone said, "Thank you, I don't know what I'd do without you," Daniel felt useful. Valuable. But slowly. He disappeared. Back in his car that morning, the sun beginning to rise, Daniel whispered something he had never said out loud before. "I don't know who I am when I'm not needed." The sentence scared him. Because it felt true. Later that day, for the first time in months, Daniel took a lunch break alone. No coworkers. No calls. No favors. He sat on a bench outside a small cafe. Coffee in hand. Across from him sat a woman reading a book. No phone. No rushing. Just calm presence. Daniel watched her turn a page slowly. He felt something unexpected. Not attraction. Envy. She looked at peace. His phone buzzed again. Another request. Another, "Can you help?" The voice returned immediately. "Say yes. They need you. Don't disappoint." Daniel's thumb hovered over the screen. Then something new happened. A question formed in his mind. Quiet. Unfamiliar. What do I want? The question felt uncomfortable. Like using a muscle that had been ignored for years. Daniel didn't answer. But he noticed the silence that followed. That night, lying in bed, Daniel searched something he'd never searched before. Why do I feel guilty saying no? The answer was simple. Almost painful. Guilt is learned. When love was once conditional, boundaries feel dangerous. The brain confuses no with rejection. The next morning, something small happened. A minor request came in at work. Nothing urgent. Nothing critical. Old Daniel would have said yes instantly. New Daniel paused. His heart beat faster. His hands felt warm. He typed. I can't today. He stared at the message. The voice panicked. They'll be upset. They'll think you're selfish. Daniel hit send anyway. Nothing happened. No angry reply. No disappointment. Just a simple. Okay, no problem. Daniel felt something unfamiliar spread through his chest. Relief. Over the next few days, Daniel practiced small choices. Leaving work on time. Not explaining every decision. Letting calls go unanswered. The guilt still showed up. But it didn't control him anymore. The voice got quieter. Because the brain learns through evidence. And Daniel was showing it something new. One evening, Daniel stood in front of his bathroom mirror. Same face. Same tired eyes. But his posture was different. Straighter. He looked at himself and said softly, I'm allowed to take up space. The words felt strange. But freeing. Daniel didn't stop helping others. He just stopped sacrificing himself. And he learned something psychology doesn't always say clearly. You don't lose love by choosing yourself. You lose yourself by never doing it. Maybe this story isn't just about Daniel. Maybe it's about the guilt you feel when you rest. The anxiety when you say no. The fear that choosing yourself makes you selfish. If so, maybe today isn't about changing everything. Maybe it's about one honest choice. One quiet boundary. One moment where you choose yourself.